Alrighty, we are live, I believe, from Columbus, OH. This is the Ramsey Show After Show. As I get the ad. Okay, and we do have audio, so we are all good to go. What up, Sid again? What up, Mila? Yeah, red is one of my favorite colors. Am I enjoying Columbus, OH? I am liking it a lot. I really enjoyed uh, being here so I could for Christmas time, so I could hang around Easton, and I'll probably do that every year. Try to make it a better presentation next year somehow. We will see. But yeah, I'm enjoying being here, being near to the children's. Very, 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 very blessed to be back. You are watching youtube.com/ Coach Steve Ramsey is my homepage. And if you go below the Oak Island playlist, you'll see the Ramsey Show After Show playlist. That's this show. And today is number 475, as you can see right there. And answering your financial questions. Playlist has 137 shows in there, and all of these are at least an hour long. Some of them as much as, I think I did 2.5 hours. I can't remember if I ever did 3 hours, but I know I've done 2.5. The music playlist has 11 Ramsey adjacent songs in there, and maybe a brand new one, especially written for the 500th episode when that happens. And that would be in what today? 3 weeks. Did I do the math right on that? 475, 25 days. 3 or 4 weeks, something like that. Market report. Down again. Yes, of 2 children, one of each. That's correct. Wife and I are no longer together. We do get along fabulously, though. So that is good as well. No, it's fine, Mila. I do mention the ex-wife quite often. Where were we? Oh, market down again today. Inflation data, I guess. Also, the president was meeting with a chairman from Japan, I believe, and they were supposed to have some kind of conference after. And so let's see, we got everything down. Europe, everything down as well. Asia, mostly down. Let's see what that US dollar is looking like. It's beating the euro. It's beating the yen. Beating the British pound, love. Bloody quid. Is down to the Canadian dollar, eh? Canada says sorry about that, I'm sure. And the US dollar is up over the Australian dollar, finally saying nar to Australia being up this week. So beating everybody except the Canada. So we'll have to see what that's all about. Futures, everything down still. So we'll see if maybe there'll be some good news later tonight or the weekend or something like that. And that'll make it go up on Monday morning. Let's see, earnings calendar we have, is that Monday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 is Tuesday, I think. Super Micro reports. Everybody down in the most followed single stocks on the Google except for, gotta look around my webcam. And the light on the webcam also makes it more difficult to see, but the Meta up 0.36%, and so that is the only one up of these top ones. I think that's all we have for the market report today. Let's do some news stories. I skipped. CNBC. Economy section, U.S. economy added just 143,000 jobs in January, but unemployment rate fell to 4%, which means more people taking the already existing jobs, some of the already existing jobs, or some of these that are added, both. So that's good. What would be even better if they added no jobs? I guess. I mean, that would make traders probably skittish as well if they added no jobs and the unemployment rate still fell, because that means people were taking existing jobs. Let's see, non-farm payrolls in January rose by seasonably adjusted 143,000 for the month, down from 307,000 in December and below the 169,000 forecast. The unemployment rate nudged lower to 4%. Job growth was concentrated in healthcare, retail, and government. Maybe one day we can stop growing. We can have enough. We can stop growing the government. We can have enough people working in government at some point. Hopefully, 32,000 jobs added. I mean, some of those would be if people leave, I guess. But my goodness, how many government jobs do there need to be to where you got to add 32,000 a month? Wages rose more than expected. Average hourly earnings increased 0.5%. Great. And 4.1% from a year ago. Great. The report also features significant benchmark revisions to the 24 totals. Always. So it's like, why even report them? If you always have to revise them, why even bother to report them? I do not get it. A lot of dumb stuff happening in the world. From Fox Business, Trump admin hits brakes on the $5 billion electric vehicles charging station program. Hey, yeah. How about you already have enough? How about you charge your vehicle at home or at some of the existing places to charge them? How about that? The funds were included in a measure signed by then President Joe Biden in 2021. I'm sure it was. So that's going to be a NAR now. Don't buy electric vehicles then if you were that worried about it. Also, Fox Business, Bud Light hasn't recovered from Mulvaney controversy. Anheuser-Busch exec says, yeah, I mean, do you want to be in business? Do you want to sell beer? Or do you want to be an activist? What do you want to do? And Costco awarded executives hundreds of thousands in DEI-related bonuses. This is some of the same crap. DEI-related bonuses. So here's a bonus just because you check a certain box. Here's a bonus. That is so stupid. And also, since then, I also talked about this previously, was a story where Costco has cut out DEI stuff. So they're dropping the program. So CEO Ron Ovakris received a 93,333 bonus for hitting metrics around DEI. Okay, well, that's a different thing. I didn't know if it was going to be that. Okay, well, I mean, if the owner of the company told the chief executive officer to, hey, hit these metrics, and this is what I want you to do, and this is the main thing I want you to do, more than selling stuff at the store. This is what I want you to concentrate on, and he did it. Well, he did the job. So, all right, I'll take a little bit of it back then. But it's all dumb. It's all dumb. It was dumb to enact it in the first place, and it's dumb to give a bonus for it. But that was what the employee was told to do. I thought this was interesting. Oh, let's see what that. Weekend plans in the chat. Hope everybody does have a wonderful weekend. I found this interesting because I was looking for a battery today on the Walmart website, and I found it in the list, and so I click on it to look at the details to find out their core charge thing, whatever they do for that. And basically what that is, when you buy a battery, they charge you a core charge, and then you take the battery and then you put it in your vehicle, and then the old battery you give back to them, and then you get back that amount, whatever they charge you for the core charge. So I guess there's some stuff in there that they can recycle or use again or something like that. And so I don't know really everything about it, because I don't know that much about cars, but I do know that much. But I just found it interesting that the page not working correctly, apparently. Didn't have any other problems with the website at all. Just getting battery specific item web pages did not work. And so they equated it apparently to the extinction of dinosaurs. I guess that's meteors coming down to Earth, and impacts and so forth. The Younger Dryas, all that kind of stuff going on. So something that devastating. The web page not working, not quite that devastating. I'm thinking, but some people might consider it that much. It might be the end of somebody's. Well, anyway. Reddit.com/r/Dave Ramsey. Let's get into the questions. Les Seraph. Accountability posts. I've been through it and I've had enough. Let's see. Did I read this already? Started playing in November, ready to take full charge of it now. I've had enough and want to take my life into my own hands. That is advised. No, I don't think I did read this. Recently paid off my car and only have one debt left for $17,800. The number makes me absolutely sick. Good. Something incredible happened to me last week. I went on a work trip to Nashville a week after I paid off my car. Next time I go will be to do my debt-free scream. Great. And started talking to a local. He came from no means and really made something of himself. I found it serendipitous when he said to me, I'm living like no one else, so later I'm living like no one else, so later I can live like no one else. Yeah, what are the odds? Gives rule number 39, there is no such thing as a coincidence. He is familiar with Mr. Ramsey. His story of hard work has inspired me even further to push into this radical lifestyle. Yeah, selling absolutely everything I own before I move back home, and am in the process of starting a home services side business. Right, single, I've been through it with a man that took advantage of me financially and made some stupid decisions myself, but I'm smartening up starting now. Great. And this is my accountability post. Nothing is going to get in my way. That's the kind of attitude you need to have. No more excuses or looking in the past. I've had it. Sick of feeling sorry for myself. Sick of not being grateful for what I do have. Sick of negativity. Sick of not taking actions. And this is exactly what it requires for you to make your life better. I recently moved to a higher cost of living city for some form of escapism, but I do not see my quality of life improving. Of course it hasn't. It, in fact, has significantly tanked, but made me so grateful for home. So I'm moving back home to my lower cost of living city in a few months. I never felt so alone, and through that, away from all of the comforts I have had in my life, I am able to stare myself straight in the eye and said I have had enough. I'm going to do some major lifestyle changes, sell everything, humble myself with this business, work my ass off, stay dedicated to my calendar and budget, and be grateful for every moment along the way. At my current rate, I'll be done with baby step 3 in 37 months, which makes me sick. But I'm going to challenge myself to do it in 7 months. Yeah, faster. by starting my side hustle and working until I can't anymore. I'm going gazelle intense. I'm changing my life. And you know what? As a single woman who doesn't have the budget to keep up with getting manicures and new outfits every month, that's fine. The man who will want me for my drive and work ethic. That I'm sure of. I'm ready to take control of my life. Fabulous. Good first comment there. Car loan interest. Explanation neither. 59. My coworker and I, this should say, were having a discussion about a car loan and was stating that it changed. Now you can't pay early towards the principal and knock down your interest. That can't be true. There's no way that's correct. It's possible. It's whatever is in the paper that you sign when you get the car loan. And so I know a good way to avoid that, and that would be to pay cash for it. Stop being dumb, people. So this doesn't matter whether it's true or not. I'm sure some places you buy cars, I'm sure that could be true. That could be in the loan agreement, in the loan paperwork that you sign, but you don't read through close enough. That could certainly be in there. But how about we pay cash instead? That would be my advice. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, Pelosi. If you attract a man primarily with your looks, Sid said, that's the main thing he will want from you. Yeah, that makes sense. What happens to your credit score? Hey, everyone. Well, we don't care, first of all. At least not in America. You don't need a credit score for anything. So we really don't care. But anyway, let's see what it says. I just joined Financial Peace University 4 weeks ago. Okay, did the following, created a budget, have $1,000 in the bank. Great. Paid off my credit cards and only $700 on student loans left, you mean? Almost debt free. Great. Have an emergency fund. You should not have a full emergency fund. See, this is what I don't get. I mean, I guess do you need to have, how about if we put solid lines between the baby step 1 and 2 and between baby step 2 and 3? And then a solid line under step 3, and then no lines under the rest of them. Would they understand that you do step 1 first without doing any of the other ones? And then when step 1 is done, you don't add any more to that amount, but you use all of your extra money to pay off debts. And then only after all of the debts are gone, then do you start baby step 3. Why do people not pick up on that? I do not know. And most of the time it's because they read it like how they want to do it. So let's see. So you would not have, guess what? Before you have more than $1,000 as your emergency fund, you would not have $700 in student loans left. So that's a nar. That's a you're doing it wrong. I know Dave said your credit score is just a relationship to debt, right? Unfortunately, the credit score is used for everything. No, it's not. In America, it's not. You're so dumb. You're just falling prey to what everybody says and what the advertising says. It's wrong. You're dumb. You're stupid. Quit being dumb and stupid. I have a very high credit score. What will happen to it? It's going to go down after you close out of your credit history of 20 years. Your score will be, it doesn't go to 0. It'll be indeterminable eventually. And will no longer have a credit history. It'll be indeterminable eventually. But 20 years of playing footsie with the bank that might make it take a little bit longer, but it doesn't matter. In a locked post too, because things must have gotten dramatic in the chats. I normally say contentious. Only ask because jobs even run your credit report. You just tell them in advance you don't have one because you don't have any freaking debt. I would like to buy a home in the future. Hey, there's a thing called manual underwriting. Quit being stupid. You know, I mean, could just join Financial Peace University 4 weeks ago, so may not know this yet, but that seems to be like something you would pick up in 4 weeks if you were also watching the Ramsey show, or reading any of the books or any of the articles on the website, or watching any other videos and so forth. You could possibly pick that up, but maybe he doesn't know. So if you don't know, sorry, then you are only going to know what your parents told you and what your friends told you and what the advertising tells you about credit score. But we don't care about it because it doesn't matter in America. Supposedly, you have to have one to buy a home in Canada with a mortgage. To get a mortgage in Canada, supposedly, you have to have one, is what I've been told by a Canadian resident. I suppose I should check with CP on that and see what he has to say. That would be a good idea. So, but yeah, don't just, I mean, just assuming that all the advertising is right and that everybody's right, rather than check with the source. I mean, there's probably even tons of videos on that where they talk about it and say this exact thing, and all you have to do is Google search it or YouTube search credit score Dave Ramsey, and it would probably tell you in that. It would probably give you a clip of them on the show with somebody calling with your exact problem of being obsessed with the credit score when you don't need to be. Bum, 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 bum. So it says maybe brainwash or something that would come across better than calling everyone dumb and stupid. I guess. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it really is only, it's just, literally ignorant, which just means you don't know something. That's not people use it as a slur, but ignorant means you are unaware of something, and that could be it. But also, people that know what the Ramsey advice is and know that, they also still believe this stuff. So that is stupid if they still believe that stuff when they've been given advice, or they've been given proof that it's not needed. Credit score is not needed. They've been given proof by the Ramsey team. Deku, bad idea to buy a house with relatively low income. It depends if you have debt. That would be a nar. If you're trying to buy too much house, that would also be a nar. Hello all, my wife and I are low 20s, baby still working relatively low paying jobs. She's finishing up school, but going to law school next year. How we paying for the school? So that has a lot to do with it. If you got student loans, there's no house. Sorry. There shouldn't be student loans either. I believe we're on baby step 4. Really? All right. As we don't have debt, great. Paid off cars and paying cash on tuition. That is fabulous. You never see stuff like that. This is great. That's exactly how you should be doing it. Cool. Non-ignorant people, they knew how to do it, or they figured it out. But we aren't actively investing at the moment. Well, you would have your full emergency fund first, but then after that you can do that, but you may want to hold off a little bit to make sure you can continue to cash flow that tuition. Law school is not that cheap, I don't think. Let's see. We gross roughly 80 to 90K a year, renting an apartment in Seattle. Seattle's not cheap either. We have roughly 60K sitting in high interest savings account. Okay. 10K in emergency fund. All right. I mean, maybe the high interest savings account money, the 60K, maybe that's for college. And so that's a sinking fund. And so that's fine. You wouldn't have 60K just sitting there for whatever. Or maybe that was for a down payment, perhaps. But no down payment until you are sure, 100% sure, you will be able to pay cash for the tuition. So I would make sure that's covered first before starting to save penny one for the down payment. With that, I would also get the 6-month emergency fund before starting the down payment as well. Make sure you have enough for 6 months. And maybe that can be maybe 10K. Maybe that's fine for them. 2 people in Seattle, maybe. With that in mind, it is enough to put a down payment on a house, but we don't think we can make enough to sustain the mortgage. Not in trying to do everything all at the same time that costs money. You want to invest, you also want to move into a house, and you also want to pay for law school. So money is a limited thing. So yeah, I would wait till probably you get out of college, or get out of she gets out of law school, or until you 100% sure have enough money to finish law school, and then you can start saving that down payment. And you can take 2 years off of investing. You don't have to invest for 2 years while you continue to save for that. And you can put a larger down payment so that makes the payment each month more affordable. Let's see what the rest is. Not that much. House prices in Seattle are pretty bad. Yep. Could move to a different area. And although I'd love to start putting my money into a house rather than losing it into an apartment, we don't know if we could sustain paying a mortgage while still going to school. Thoughts? Right. I don't know either. And you know what it's costing. You can find out, if you don't know already, you can find out what law school is costing and that you will need in order for her to finish. So yeah, I would get that together first, and you rent until then. Yes, you are losing equity, but doesn't matter. Too risky. Too risky to try it. So do the math and go from there. Boom, boom, boom. That's right. Dumb is fewer syllables. That's correct. Mila says nowhere is cheap, really. If you come from Vegas and move to the Midwest, you will think it's cheaper. I assure you. Mega Keto. I don't. There's no beaches here, so I don't know that. I don't know that we'll be seeing you around here. Got to go quite a ways to get to a beach. Mega Keto. Cash versus investments. I am roughly $1.15 million in my 401k, roughly $200K in CDs and Robinhood savings, all earning around 4%. I want to retire in about 2 years. How would you feel about my cash situation? Too much, too little, or am I good? And do we think this is anywhere near enough information? The answer would be no. So your 1 million is gonna make 100,000 a year. So if you can live on 100,000 a year, I guess. It just depends on if the house is paid off. Because that means you don't have a mortgage payment, and so that would make it easier. It just depends on all the, how much is it? 200K there. So you would have that. If you are younger than retirement age, you are also going to be paying a penalty for taking it out of the 401k. If you're too young. So if you're trying to retire early, 200K as a bridge fund to bridge you to your retirement age, that might not be enough. Earning 4%. So that's what is that? $8,000? Is that right? Am I losing my mind? Dementia sets in sometimes. 200 times, what do you say? 0.04 equals, yeah, $8,000. So that's $8,000 a year, and you can't live on that. So you would be dipping into that 200K amount, and that will make that 200K. So it just depends on how close you are to your wanted retirement age. 41 comments, too many to look through, but I would imagine there's not going to be, even in the comments, if OP did add in for extra information, it wouldn't be enough. Your mom goes to college. Alrighty. Bu- 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 bum. Mila likes the beaches, so she says we sure will not see her in the Midwest. Okay. Only cheaper if you have the same income. Fair enough, Sid. Fair enough. When is it time to leave my job? Baby step 3, flare. Let's go and open it up since we see the dots at the end, signifying that there's more. All right. I'm looking for some opinions on my current work situation. I currently work a full-time W-2 job, making around $105,000 a year. The job is pretty flexible since I manage a team who works overnights while I'm typically in the office doing normal hours. For the most part, I usually come and go as I please and only have the standard management duties: hiring, firing, payroll, etc. Interesting. I quickly realized I have a lot of free time, so over the last few years, I've started 2 of my own businesses. This year, I'm projecting to do an additional $80,000 to $90,000 between the 2 and complete baby steps 2 and 3. Great. And I would wait at least until you're done with baby step 3, probably, to leave that job. I mean, unless your businesses can keep you afloat. I mean, it's pretty close if you're going to be continuing to make that much. But since it's only been 2 years, that might not be enough of a track record for you to say, oh, I'll definitely be making enough money to live on during that time. And of course, you want to be able to do more than just be able to live on the money. You also want it to be enough to do some fun things as well, and also invest for retirement and so forth. Continue the baby steps. While life is very busy, the daily juggling act is ever keeping everything going. I'm currently making it work, but just barely. Oh, I'm reminded more and more that my W-2 job is the way of focusing on my business full time, and pretty soon is in the way, sorry, of focusing on my business. Gotcha. I'll have to stop accepting new business because I'm just out of time. There's only so many hours in the day, and I'm also a full-time single dad. However, if I can keep everything going as they are now, I could pay off my house, $150,000 left by the end of 2026. So my question is, when I reach the inevitable point where I can't take on new business, should I stop growing and do as much as I can for as long as I can until I pay off my mortgage? The problem is you do not know the future. Either thing you decide could be wrong, even though every number you have, every brain cell that you have, and it's not just wishful thinking, but based on the previous numbers, it tells you, okay, and so if I am able to even put more time into my 2 businesses, then I'll make even more than I was in working the full-time job as well, the W-2 job as well. Because right now you're doing all 3 of them. So leaving that job, you probably won't be able to continue making what you are now. So it's not going to be 90, and then on top of it, by growing the business, you make an additional 105 a year. So that's probably not going to happen. So to have the most money coming in, you would keep things like it is, but that sounds very, very busy to me. So you would have to you just got to look at those numbers. So my question is, when I reach I already said that. Alternatively, should I go ahead and jump off the proverbial diving board and sink all my effort into my business? It's tough to give up the security of a good salary with benefits, but I'm fully aware that I'm gaming the system and I'm not giving 100% of my primary job. Okay, if you feel bad about that too, you might want to leave. Or put the businesses on the back burner and maybe do them part-time, at least for a while, until you do leave that job. I'm lucky to have a choice between 2 good options, right? But I'd love to hear what someone else would do in my position. Let's see, for reference, baby step 2, 41,000 to go to baby step 3. See, that's a lot. I mean, that's a lot for you to even start on baby step 3. So you don't have any. So yeah, you wouldn't be paying that house off before you would pay that off or have your full emergency fund either. So you got, again, unfortunately, everybody trying to do everything all at the same time. But yeah, so I would keep it like you're doing it, because that's probably the most total money that comes in. But then when you decide you can't do it anymore, then you have to just look at the numbers, and then, realistically, it seems like if you're making 90, it seems like you possibly could get up to, by $15,000 more. You could get up to the 105 that you are making in there, but you maybe not realizing, not thinking about, and some people do lose sight of it. You're bringing in a lot of money now because you're doing all 3 of them. So that would be the problem on that. So difficult to say. I mean, and this does have to be, you are the one that knows all the numbers for everything. Now, if you are putting profit back into the business, you should not be doing that. You shouldn't be growing. You should only be growing it at the speed of your labor. So you shouldn't be constantly, if you're selling stuff, you shouldn't constantly be buying stuff out of that. You should need to take your profit out and put it into your paying off your debt and the rest of the baby steps. So baby step 3, flare, you're not in baby step 3, because I mean, that's not even the focus of the question either. So I don't know why you picked that one, because you are on baby step 2. So yeah, but automatically on baby step 3, that still doesn't, even if you said you were on baby step 3, that doesn't answer the question automatically either. So need more information, and you're the only one that knows all of that stuff, because we also don't know is, if you do that, if you would slack off between your other 2 businesses, and you wouldn't continue to put in the amount of time. Now, if you put in the same amount of time that you put in on all 3 of them, I'm sure you would be able to make at least what you make at the original job, but how close you would get to making as much as all 3 combined, we don't know. Oh, let's see if we got anybody else thinking about that. Mila, ready to get rid of some rugs? Don't think I've ever done that. Professional cleaning, yeah. Wouldn't have thought about that either. Jonathan Radosavlevici has 87K in debt, 11K of it. Credit cards, and the rest is 3% business loan. You should not get loans for doing business. I make $2,600 per month, barely surviving. Any advice? If you have a car, you sell it. Maybe you need to close the business. If you have bought things for the business with that loan, you can sell it. You can sell the stuff. But so what we would do, basically, since you did it wrong by taking out the debt, right? That's when you fix that in baby step 2 by paying off the debt. But the business loan, you shouldn't have taken that out in the first place. And the way you fix that is undo it by selling anything you bought with the loan. If you just spent that money on yourself somehow, then you would still obviously have to pay that completely back out of your own money. $2,600 a month is not that much, and barely surviving. Any advice? Yeah, you gotta you gotta undo the dumb stuff you did. Which is what the baby steps are all about. And so, yeah, you might have to close that business. Budgeting is what Sid recommends, and she's certainly correct about that. $300 extra months after savings and expensive, also selling everything I own. Well, that includes any assets the business has. You need to sell that stuff too and close the business then, because it's not making you enough money. And you might have to go back to work for the man instead of working for yourself. Sid says, start by listing all your debts, smallest to largest, and pay them off in that order with your $300. Yep. Trey working out in the early mornings. I bet that's probably maybe then, or the late evenings would probably be the hardest time to get motivated to do them. But just feels better all day after getting blood circulating. I bet, Trey. Oh, the business is closed, selling everything. Yeah, and that's what you can do. And have a regular job now, great. Get another one. Get a part-time one too. Work as much as you can. If you can work overtime, do that. And you don't buy anything that's not 100% necessary. So you got to go scorched earth while you do steps 2 and 3. Worried Fold 8290. Sell car or attack loan aggressively. We have about $225,000 in total loan between 2 cars. Sell the cars again. Sell both cars. What do you mean sell a car? Sell both cars. A personal loan and student debts. Yeah, sell both cars. Our highest rate is on a car loan near 10%. The monthly payment is $11.80 on a freaking car payment or so, and about $66K left to pay. Sell the cars. Sell both of them. I've done the snowball in the past. That was a waste of time, wasn't it? When you just take out the debt again, that's a waste of time. Do it again, but this time don't make it a waste of time. And worked great, but all of these balances are pretty similar and will take 2 to 3 years each to pay off. Yeah, not if you sell the cars, then you don't have those loans anymore. You have to take drastic action in order to make drastic progress. Let's see what the rest is. My question is, do I aggressively pay off the car? No, you sell it above or attempt to sell. You don't attempt to sell it, you sell it. Even if you have to, if you're underwater on it, even if you have to sell it for less than, what you can do to completely get out of it. So if you have to use some extra money, even if you have to borrow $5,000 or even $10,000 to get out of that car, sell it. $10,000 loan is better than the $60,000 loan for the car. $66,000, yeah, $10,000 loan is better than that. Mr. Ramsey does approve you taking out smaller loans than your larger $66,000 loan in order to get rid of that much debt. People don't ever think about that, though. They get a car payment and then they think, oh, well, I've got to keep this car forever. But that's an error. You don't have to. Attempt to sell it and get into a more economical 0%. No. See the part where it says loan? Now you're complaining about loans up here. Loan. Right? In total loan between 2 cars. Loan, problem. But let me get into another one. It'll be 0%. You don't want any more loans. Loans do not fix the problem. It doesn't. The United States thinks it does too, because they keep borrowing money, and somehow other countries insist on loaning us money. And so we take out loans to pay loans. The United States does, which is dumb as crap. So no loans is the answer. So that's a nar on that. Manageable monthly payment, that's a no. See, we want to get rid of the loan. We want to get rid of the payment. Did you not pick that up from Mr. Ramsey? He's the no debt guy, in case you didn't hear. And started snowballing the other loans with savings from the lower car payment. We have about 2K a month for a snowball extra payment as a FYI. It only has, you'll have way more than that if you don't have any car payments. Or if you have a much lower loan because you bought two beaters or just one. If you don't need two cars, don't have two cars. At least not until you get rid of all your problems with money. Till you get up to baby step 4. If you don't need two cars, don't buy two cars. It only has 29K miles. Great, sell it. Drives great, great, sell it. And it's fine technically, but struggling on what to do with that high interest, high payment loan. Thanks for the advice. Yeah, you sell both cars. I mean, I guess the only way you wouldn't sell the second car, the non-$66,000 car, would be is if it is almost paid off. And it wouldn't behoove you to sell it much more than selling it and getting a beater is. If it's almost a beater itself and it's almost paid off, then it might make sense to keep that one. But the $66,000 car, no way. No way. That's a no. So you're talking about 2 to 3 years each. So you're talking about 6 years. No. So and that's the answer. It should take 2-3 years most to get out of your debt. And if it's not, you got to do drastic stuff like sell cars, even though nobody wants to ever. Baby girl just showed up for Trey. Trey is out. We appreciate his presence though, for sure. Baby step 2 flare here. Invisible arc again. Selling versus keeping the car upside down. And people think that too. Oh, I can't get enough for it to pay it off. And their brain stops working at that point. And they don't think, oh, well, I wonder if there's a way for me to get other money somehow. Oh, I have some money in savings that I also shouldn't have, but it will come in handy for this. Or, oh, wait a minute. I could get a $10,000 loan to get a used car instead of this $66,000 car. You know, why does your brain shut off at that point when you said, "Oh, it's upside down, I can't sell"? I want to understand the thought process on why to sell a vehicle when you're upside down instead of keeping the vehicles until your balance reaches the value, because you're losing more in interest. You're taking longer to pay off your debt. Why don't you understand that? I.e. 30K loan, 20K value, right? Hey, guess what? It might not ever reach the balance because you might be paying it way too slow. And that is kind of the idea. They do, the banks and the car dealerships, they do always want you to have a car loan. My parents told me quite often, I would say probably once a month at least, once I got to about 15, 16, something like that, you'll always have a car loan. And I did not eventually. I wised up eventually. But yeah, I was dumb. And that's why I don't mind calling people on here dumb, because I was dumb too. You got to stop being dumb. I stopped being dumb. You should too. I 30K loan, right? We understand how negative equity works. That's, people like to explain it, what it is. And, they assume that Ramsey personalities have never heard of it either, the way they talk about it. But yeah, all you got to do is open up your mind a little bit and think and realize that it's better to have a much smaller loan than your 30K loan in this case. Right? So you're 10K underwater. So if you get a 10K loan to pay the difference between that lets you get out of that loan, and then you have a 10K loan instead of a 30K loan. Isn't that better? And then that doesn't take as long to pay off. Why do you recommend selling the vehicle and paying the difference and getting an older clunker when you're actually paying an extra 10K for the clunker? you're not paying an extra 10K for the clunker. If it's 10K, it shouldn't be a clunker. It shouldn't be a beater at 10K. That's a lot. Not a baby step follower, but using some of the same strategies. Thanks, baby step 2. Well, if you're not a baby step follower, why you bother putting the baby step you're on right there? I don't understand. So, yeah. 17 people answered. Probably at least one of them told him the right thing and explained it to him. But some people don't want to understand. They just want to say, no, that doesn't make sense. And then that gives them justification for not doing it. And people do get mad about that all the time when when they see like people doing debt-free screams, or they hear. I mean, I've had people get mad when I told them that I haven't been in debt for X number of years, and so it's probably been at least 15 now, I think. But yeah, I mean, they just get mad at it, mad about it, and I guess it's because it makes them look at their own life and saying, oh, if he did it, I could do it too. And they get mad about that because they don't want to sacrifice anything. Oh, let's see. Sharak03. Where does buying a house fit into the baby steps? And I answered this previously, but I think it was a different question. It was like back a few days before this would have been posted. But the down payment is baby step 3B, and so there's no even thinking about a house until then. Doesn't say it on here, doesn't say it on the Ramsey version of it either. Step 3, save 3 to 6 months of expenses, fully funded emergency fund. And then step 3 is where you save the down payment, and the balance between saving for down payment and the investing in step 4. The balance between those two is up to you, including it can be 0% invested for up to 2 years while you save up a larger down payment faster, which has to be done because of, as people love to say, in today's economy, the prices, yeah, you're living in too high a cost of living area and you don't make that high a cost of living area money. And so in order to do that, you can get the mortgage amount down by putting more down. And so that means you may have to do something like not invest for 2 years. And David's fine with that. Only for 2 years, though. After that, he wants you investing because he thinks you are going to want to retire one day. Oh, there's no dots. Long story short, too late. Wife and I divorcing. Oh, okay. Oh, I think I did read this one. Sometimes they do switch position. They shouldn't switch days, though. Selling our current home and walk away with $65K in equity. Have 2 kids and we'll split custody. Oh, yeah. Let's see. Do I pause baby steps 4 and 5 during the year lease until after I buy the house? If the kids are pretty young still, you could possibly do that. To start saving another down payment, you can stop investing, as I was just saying. That's generally, though, let's see, selling our current home, walk away with $65K. Generally, it's not advised that you get another mortgage. Instead of using cash, you save up. But I understand this is a different situation. You're going down to one income, etc., etc. So I guess that would probably be okay. I don't know exactly what Dave would say about that, because they do talk about people getting, he has talked to people about getting a mortgage to upgrade in house too, which I also don't think is the idea behind it. The idea behind it is you just use the equity that you have built up in your current house, and so when you sell your old house, you get all that money. Plus, if you want to upgrade, you save that money in advance before you would buy the new house. The difference between whatever the old house is worth and what the new house is worth. Let's see. Do I use everything I have for the down payment if it's beyond 20%, or do I keep it strictly 20% and keep the rest for my emergency fund? You have to have emergency fund the rest of your life, and 3 months might be fine. normally, but if you're going to buy a house, I say you have 6 months. And that does not become, see, the emergency fund doesn't become anything, just like the starter emergency fund in baby step one. A lot of people ask, should I use that to pay off my debt? And that's no, that's not why you save it. It doesn't say save it to pay off your debt in step two. It says you save it as a starter emergency fund. So you always are supposed to have the emergency fund, and especially because when you buy houses, you can't call the landlord about a problem. You have to fix the problem. So 6 months before that, and you don't apply that to anything else except, hey, guess what? It's an emergency fund. It's not a down payment fund. It's not a car tire, my favorite example, car tire or car battery for me. It's not that kind of issue where it's an emergency. You know you want to buy a house, so then you make a separate savings account, or I mean just separate amount in your savings. You can have different buckets in your savings account, and one can be for emergency fund, one can be for down payment. And so, yeah, you wouldn't do that. Trying to do that, you might also, coming off a divorce, you might also want to rent for a year while you get your life together instead of rushing right into buying a house. So, doesn't say anything about debt. So yeah, do it. Paul babies up 4 and 5. So hopefully 4, 5, and 6 here, and selling the house. Yeah, I would probably rent for a year somewhere while you figure out what you want to do about that, instead of rush right into a house. I know everybody worries about the equity, but wouldn't you rather have peace of mind that you're not rushing into buying a house, and that way you'll have a much better idea of what your life looks like after marriage? That's what I would advise. Do I have live chat on, or is it top chat? Forgot if I checked that. Thanks everybody that's watching, by the way. Much appreciated. Good numbers for Friday. Friday usually the lowest. People trying to go out and party at Friday night, I guess. Forward stable 1925 from the bloody UK. 34, 7,000 quid in debt. I'm 34, living in the UK, and am 7K in debt. I've heard way worser amounts of debt, and way older and way younger with way worser amounts of debt. Currently take home 2,600, and my debt repayments are $750 a month, and I have 50 left after all expenses. Yeah, that's not a lot to have left over each month. My mortgage is up for renewal in 3 months, so I don't want to try to get a 0% transfer card. Yeah, see, we don't go to cards, we don't go to loans to fix things. And in case I am rejected and it hurts credit score, yeah, I don't know about UK if you got to have a credit score there either. I don't know. I don't think you do. I'm considering asking Bank of Mum. No loans. We don't do loans to fix situations. Stop going to loans. That behavior is as dumb as crap. To clear the biggest debt. Previously cleared 10K of debt, but now not changed habits. I'm right back in it. Well, that's your dumb fault. So you are being dumb by doing that. Yes, you are. So the answer, instead of trying to use debt to fix your situation of debt, how about we stop doing debt instead? How about we learn from the mistakes and we change our habits this time? So the problem isn't to find the money somewhere and borrow it from somewhere, especially from friends or family. Don't do that dumb crap. I got a great idea. Work more. Spend less. No new debt. How about that? How about we do that? Are you familiar with Mr. Ramsey? He's the no debt guy. And so the only thing that that the loan is a solution for is if you're into underwater car and you're going to take out a loan for much less than the amount of the car loan that you already have. That's the only time it's a solution. Allows you to get out of a underwater car, and also you get rid of the payment, and also then you don't have to pay off all that loan. You get rid of a lot of your debt, and you don't have to pay that payment, is what I meant to say. Nora Gretzkady. All right. Student loan or car, whichever, smallest to largest. Baby step 2, smallest to largest always. Let's see. Do we have to? Yeah, that's not that long. I guess I'll read it. But that's going to be the answer, regardless. I just received a remote position, but I also work a second job that brings in $100 per week that I need to drive to. Okay. I owe $15K on the car. It's worth around $13 to $14K right now. I can easily walk to places where I live. I have $19K in student loan debt. I'm debating on selling the car or sell the car. $100 a week, not worth it to keep paying the car off. If you can walk wherever you need, you don't need a car then, except to drive to that other place. So you don't need it. You don't need the car. You don't need that. $400, I don't think is worth keeping the debt. 15K on the car, worth 13 to 14. Okay, so it'd be a little bit of underwater there, but you can get rid of that $15,000 worth of debt. That it's better to get rid of the $15,000 of debt rather than to make $400 extra a month. Debated on selling the car, resign from my part-time job, put my extra money into my student loan. Yes. I'm working on some credit card debt right now, but in July I will be able to put $3.5 thousand to student loan our car, and it'll be more than that if you sell the car, and you'll be out of debt faster. I pay $540 per month for my car and insurance. Right, so if I sell, put that money towards student loan. Exactly. Well, you would put them towards your lowest debt. So, don't do things like say, okay, I'll get this money and I'll apply it to this debt, and I'll get this money and apply it to this debt. No, it's smallest to largest always. No matter what money you get now, you would apply that to the lowest debt. And that's probably not the student loan. Oh, I guess if you get rid of the student loan, you get rid of the car, then you don't. No, you have credit card debt. So it's probably going to be, you might have credit card lower than the student loan. So you would pay those off as well. Let's see. Also, after I typed this, I realized my second job could almost supplement the car payment and insurance. Yeah. How about if I would want to keep that money instead of getting it to only pay debt for something that you don't need. But which one would you pay off first? I would pay the car off first by selling it, and then pay your credit cards off and look for another part-time remote thing that you can do instead, or another job a place you can walk to. Alrighty, what's more, youtube.com/coachstevemoney, and you can find my financial content right below the Oak Island playlist. Ramsey Show, Aftershow Show, and Answering Your Financial Questions playlists. Also, the music playlist, 11 Ramsey Jason songs in there. And again, for episode 500, got a new song coming. I'll be doing live on episode 500. Alrighty. Where else were we? Oh, yeah, we want to say, let's see. Whoops. What did I do? I turned on reading mode. Did not want to do that. There we go. Boom, boom, boom. Sid was explaining why we don't go down to zero savings for the down payment. That much is certain. Because emergency fund is emergency fund. Best case scenario, you never have an emergency fund and you never touch it. And it just stays right there, making just a little bit of interest your entire life. Tennessee tornado? I don't think so. It's one in North Carolina. Or was it Tennessee? I can't remember. Yeah, I can't remember. You can't trust me. I don't know. What's more, Coach Steve Money, I'm a Ramsey Solutions certified financial coach, not just some guy here telling people they're doing it wrong. Even though, I don't know. What do you think, George?
You're doing it wrong. You're doing it wrong. You're doing it wrong.
That's right. And I didn't get that from him. He just happened to say that one day, and I duped it twice. And so we get a 3-timer. You're doing it wrong from Mr. Camel there. Of course, the original.
You're doing it wrong.
From the movie Mr. Mom. And he was doing it wrong. He went in the wrong way to drop the kids off. Where was I? Oh yeah, Ramsey Solutions certified financial coach. And if you've got money problems or you just want to make sure you're on the right track, you can schedule a free financial coaching consultation with me at calendly.com/coachstevemoney. You can do that at I did say that, calendly.com/coachstevemoney. That is in the description below of the video, and also the ticker below. You can email me at coachstevemoney@gmail.com. Donations can go to paypal.me/coachstevemoney or Cash App to $coachstevemoney or a Walmart gift card to coachstevemoney@gmail.com. Upcoming streams would be the Ramsey Show Aftershow show, and that is Monday through Friday until further notice. And that starts at 5:25 p.m. Eastern Time, which is the time that the Ramsey Show leaves the YouTube, where they're done with the YouTube for the day. And that's when I take over on the YouTube, 5:25 p.m. Eastern Time. Alrighty, everybody, have a great weekend, or whatever day part or time of the week you're watching this. If you're watching it later, and as always, make smart financial decisions every day.